having some trouble today with my cameras. So anyway, we've got some really nice papers in these decoupage kits. A lot of nice background and some couples of graphics. And let's see, there's another graphic page in here, like this. So what I did, I thought I was on camera when I did this part, but what I did do is I cut out a background, and now it's stuck to my paper. Okay, just not having a good day today. Maybe this is not my day to video. Okay, so here we go. Turn that over. So what I did do was I cut my background to be a little bit smaller than my card, and it's a pre-made card like that, and I went around the edges first with tattered rose and then with Victorian velvet, and then I went around the edges of my graphic with old paper, and I also put some in the middle to get rid of some of the white spaces. And then I took the Royal Craft repositionable glue for decoupaging, and I not only added it to my graphic, I added it to my paper. So then I stuck it on to my paper, and now I'm going to go over top of it with the decoupage medium as well. Need a little bit more in my container, and I'm going to go over the entire paper for consistency in the finish. This stuff lasts a long time. I've had it for years and it's still working just great. Okay, now I'm going to pull this up off of here so that it doesn't get stuck again. I move that and put it on my non-stick craft mat. Okay, and I'm going to let that dry. So let's move a few things around. Let me get the sticky off of my fingers with some hand sanitizer. And I'm going to put this up out of the way. And put my brush in some water to soak that glue off. Okay, so now I'm going to come to my card. I still haven't got the sticky off, but it's very important that I do that because I don't want to have smudges on my card. So let me get that done. Got a few smudges already. Alright, so now I want to put down my other background, and that's this is a piece of basil cardstock, and in the color is called Pear. So I want to have about 1/8 of an inch showing, and I don't seem to have a pencil around, so I'm going to just mark that there and there, and cut that out on my cutter, my paper trimmer. Okay, so let me find my marks again. Alright. Those up. And I have my mat. And let's check it up against the card, see if I need to trim a little more. Now I think that'll work. Very good. Okay, and then we're going to put this on top of there. Alright, so we may need to trim this one a little bit when it dries. So I'm going to go ahead and use the same brown, the old paper, on the edges of my card. Just barely going in, not going to go in a whole lot. A lot of it will be covered up anyway, so you would be wasting ink if you went any farther in than the edges. I like to do it on this top edge as well. And then I'm also going to do it on my green, because that gives a sense of harmony. It ties everything together. You should never isolate a color in any of your creations. If you are using a color in one spot, use it in at least 3 spots around the painting or around the card or whatever you're doing, so that you will have that harmony. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and blow dry this a little. Okay, and now since I've still got the sticky, there's one last thing I would like to do. This is micro glitter. And I would like to sprinkle it over top of my card. And because the stickiness is there, it will stick to my card. You don't want to put too much because you want it to stay transparent. But I have a lot of stickiness that I want to cover. So I'm being generous with it. But as you can see, it just doesn't take much at all. This is Glitter Ritz. And I got it from, I think I got it from Prickly Pear Stamping Company. So, I've still got some sticky. So what I'll do next is I have this bag that I use to clean off my surface before embossing, and I'm just going to pull that over like that here and there, and that will get rid of the stickiness that's left. Okay, So now I'm ready to adhere it to this background. I believe I might want to trim just a little bit off of this edge here. So let's come over and just get about maybe 1/4 of an inch trimmed off of there. Yeah, that's better. See a little more of the green back there. I think I'm going to get just a little bit off of this edge as well. Now, if you weren't going to put your glitter on this way, then you would not want to put that repositionable decoupage medium across any part of across anything that's not the graphic. And then if I didn't put the glitter on here but I had that on the graphic, then I would take this decoupage medium or any other kind of sealer. Glue and seal would work, Tradition sealer would work, and then seal over top of that to get that stickiness off. So okay, I'm going to go ahead and glue this to my liner, and I'm going to use glue and seal. And I'm going to go back to my scruffy brush, because it's a large brush, and the larger the better when you're covering a large area. Okay. Wipe this glue off of my craft sheet so that we don't stick to it. Alright. And this is not repositionable, so you want to get this right the first time. And I'm going to use my brayer to tamp that down. Get all the air bubbles out. You kind of want to go from the center out in all directions to get those air bubbles out. And I've got a little problem right here where my paper had stuck. So my paper is very thin there, and I've got a little bit of a hole in the paper, but I will do something to disguise that. I'll put some bling on it there or something. Maybe a sentiment, something like that. So if you make mistakes, then you know, sometimes they're not so hard to fix. So I'm going to leave that weak area right there alone. And then we can stick this to our card. And we don't have to use glue and seal there because we don't have to cover the entire area. So I'm going to use my ATG. And my weak area there has stuck to my craft sheet, so we're going to have to deal with that. So let's put this on. Use the brayer to flatten it out. Okay. Now, we're going to have to fix this. In my stash, I have a bird charm that I could put right there. Or another way to go is I have small cutouts that can use to put a sentiment on with. There's that one, or this one. I think that one might work. But I have a lot of these cut out so that I can just use them when I need them. So let's go ahead and ink the sides of this with our old paper. Okay, but it's really important that I use the right blending tool. So let's go. Let's see. That little bit of red may not hurt because we have a pink background. So let's go with it. As a matter of fact, I think I might add a little to it on the other edges. Happy accidents. Okay. So now I have some small words, some really tiny words here. So we got celebrate. Okay, I'm going to go with the Tiny Text by Cosmo Cricket and use the word celebrate. Let's take these out. And it looks like it's part of Celebrate Your Creativity, but I'm just going to use the celebrate part. Oh, here's a celebrate simplicity. Let's see if we've got a celebrate all by itself. Nope, so we'll just use the celebrate from here. And I'm going to find my scissors in under all of the mess, and I'm just going to clip it off. Okay. So I'm going to put this right here in the center, and we'll ink that up just a little bit as well. And then we're going to glue that right here. And it's nice because this paper has a little bit of texture in it, so that's kind of cool. So let's use a little bit of glue and seal. I'm just going to put it on my finger. I'm going to put that right there. And I think I would still like to use my bird, and I'm going to put it right there. But I don't want it to be silver. I think I'd like it to be a brown. So I'm going to take, let's take Vintage Photo and see if we can put a little color on that. Yeah, got a little bit. Kind of takes off some of the shine, but I'm not satisfied with that. In the color Ginger, because this is metal, it will adhere to the metal. And I'm just going to put that on there. And then I'm going to take a paper towel and wipe some of it off. Wipe some of it off. I wiped a little more than I wanted to. Let's put a little more back on him. it sit there for a second. Let some of the alcohol evaporate so that the stain stays. Much better. Okay, and then I'm going to dry that. Now also, I'm going to go ahead and cut off the ring of the charm. There we go. And you can do that with these tonic scissors. They're very good. Okay. And well, I was going to sand it a little bit. I have some sanding block sitting somewhere on my desk. There it is. Just in case that sharp edge. Okay, so now I'm going to come back and place that right there, and it looks a lot better on there with this color. And I'm going to use glossy accents to do that. It's very, very good for this gluing metal down to paper or other metal, or to glue embellishments on, because it's dimensional and it's very thick. Works very well. Dries clear. And I'm going to put that right there. Alright, and so it's a card with a lot of technique involved, but it's simple, elegant. It's got glitter on it. I'm going to have to clean that edge up. There we go. Had a little bit of lint on it. And then on the inside, you can stamp happy birthday. You can write a note. I also on the inside like to go around the edges for continuity. And I'm doing that with old paper. It's a nice medium brown. It's got a tint of green to it. And the back has already been done. So, and there's the birthday card. Thanks for joining me this